everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm sure Kimale in Abuja. Let's get talking, everyone, because there is a lot to touch on tonight. And so let's begin by letting you know that there seems to be some progress and movement in achieving a very credible, free elections. As far as those who are willing to subvert the process, they might be in for a lot of trouble, because a bill for an act to establish a National Electoral Offences Commission and Electoral Offences Tribunal has scheduled a second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill seeks to provide legal framework for investigation and prosecution of electoral offences for the general improvement of the electoral process in Nigeria. Lawmakers believe decisive deterrence through prosecution will address electoral offences. The bill will now be committed to a public hearing. Well, then let's check out some of the political roundup stories.
The organized labor movement in Nigeria is planning to hold a protest on the state of the nation to call the attention of government to address the country's deteriorating security situation, the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, and the unending energy crisis. Speaking at two separate conferences in Abuja, both the president of the NLC, Mr. Ayuba Waba, and the president of the National Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, Mr. Ambali Olatunji, decried a worsening security situation in the country and asked the government to act.
There will be a one-day national protest to call the attention of government to resolve this issue immediately.
President Muhammadu Buhari is promising Nigerians free, fair and credible elections in 2023. He told representatives of Nigerians living in Portugal that he will give free hand to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to ensure that the commission delivers peaceful, transparent, free, fair and credible elections next year. He said, quote, "We also look forward to a smooth transition to the next government. As I have said before, our administration will not compromise on doing the right things and the welfare of Nigerians home and abroad." The president also used the occasion to caution against the use of social media to insult and incite from a safe and anonymous distance, urging the diasporans to always promote Nigeria's unity. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has blamed the responsible faith leaders for religious tensions in the country and failing to promote unity. The vice president made the remark when a delegation from the Kuje interfaith community led by Sam Ogbodo visited him at the presidential villa in Abuja. Professor Osinbajo says, quote, "One of the major issues that our country has to face is unity of our people, unity of the ethnic groups and unity of the faiths, so that we are able to make real progress in the various respects that our country needs to make progress." Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has renominated his deputy Emmanuel Akabe as his running mate for his second term bid. Governor Sule disclosed this in Lafia and handed over the form to him, saying they will swim and sink together.
We are going to do anything possible within the context of the law to make sure we win this election.
The Lagos State People's Democratic Party governorship candidate, Olajide Adediran, popularly called Jandor, had a closed-door meeting with the European Union delegates, Nigeria and ECOWAS on his manifesto and vision for the transformation of Lagos State. The delegation was led by Ms. Samuela Isopi, the European Union ambassador to Nigeria, and the Economic Community of West African States. After the meeting, the PDP governorship candidate said his government, if voted, will ensure the development of Lagos.
The need for them to know what is it that we're doing differently, what are we bringing to the table.
And at least 1,250 personnel have been engaged in a 12-day trial census training organized by the National Population Commission in Daura, Katsina State. The personnel, consisting of facilitators, supervisors and enumerators, were drawn from several communities in Daura, Katsina State. The training is not unconnected with preparations for the 2023 Population and Housing Census, scheduled to hold in April next year. The first fully digital trial census covering 7,718 enumeration areas across 6 selected states in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country is expected to be completed simultaneously on the 30th of July 2022.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Now, it's a serious business, and let's get to it. The center can no longer hold as things are fast falling apart in the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. Recent events have generated crises leading to reports of a major breakout of support for the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar by some leaders of the party, including governors, sitting governors, and former governors. A tweet by a former Ekiti State Governor, Ayodele Fayose, created some sort of panic in the party, indicating that the party should respect its constitution on zoning. Mr. Fauci insists that the presidency needed to go to the south this time around after Buhari would have spent 8 years in office. Some of the leaders who have aligned with River State Governor Nyesom Wike on the issue of the deputy president or the vice presidential ticket or the running mate to Atiku Abubakar are already speaking up. One of them is the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom. He's being unequivocal about his support and his stand. Well, you can see right there Ayodele Fauci Street on the issue of zoning of the presidential ticket. Tonight, we speak with the executive governor of Benue State, Governor Samuel Otom, who joins us from Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. And let's get straight to it. What is happening in your party? It does look like the center is no longer holding, and perhaps Mr. Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of your party, is not getting the needed support. You and some of your friends are not supporting him. Why?
Sheol, thank you very much for bringing me on this program. And I tell you that the misconception that the center in PDP is not holding is not true. Politics is a game of dialogue, game of understanding, game of discussing, and game of coming to agreement where there are conflicts. Generally, politics is a game of conflict management, and that is what we're trying to do here. And I tell you, but above all, it is a game of interest. You can have 1,000 people with diverse interests, but the capacity to come together to agree on the way forward is what is needed. And I think that is what is happening in PDP. It is not beyond us yet, because we can see through dialogue, through negotiation, through understanding, through appeals, come to a round table and agree on the way forward. I tell you the truth, the situation in Nigeria today is so bad that nobody will want a repeat of the APC government to come back to power. Nigerians are looking for alternatives. I'm a grassroots politician. We have worked with the people, and the people are pained with the security situation, the economic problems that we have in Nigeria, and also the social problems. Nobody is free. We are all enslaved today because of the bad policies of the APC-led government. So Nigerians are looking for alternatives. And we in PDP, we have said that we intend to go to the root of it, rescue our country, rebuild it, and make things work for our country. At least where we came from 2015 to date, you can see that there's a clear difference. Compare President Goodluck Jonathan's administration with this of President Muhammadu Buhari. See the difference where we are. I know that Nigerians have been coerced, we have been intimidated, we have been blackmailed by not saying the truth. But you agree with me that APC government came on board because of the blackmail, the intimidation that they brought against PDP in 2015. So I agree with you that, yes, we may not 100% agree with whether the presidential candidate of the PDP or the party itself, but this is something that some of us are calling for dialogue. We're calling for the leadership.
Right, let's put into context, Governor Otom, let's quickly put these things into context. Let me ask you, do you stand with Governor Nyesom Wike on the issue of the vice presidential ticket of your party?
Let me tell you before I go straight to the point, to tell you that from the beginning, I believe that the presidency should go to the South. I was the chairman of zoning committee, but overwhelmingly, the people say, look, let us allow a free and fair process, which we did. But I tell you the truth, I supported Wike to become the vice president. In fact, we had to convince him. Some of us, we had to convince him. He didn't want it. But we said, look, for the larger interests of the party and the Nigerian public who are calling on you to accept the responsibility. And that was why when the party set up a committee, which it was initiated by the candidate himself, and said that, look, we should help him to advise him on who will be the vice president of the party. 17 of us, we met, and 14 members of that committee, from stakeholders of the party, from National Working Committee, from Governors Forum, from former Governors Forum, from former Ministers Forum, all of us came together. 14 out of 17 said that for the party to move forward, it should be Wike. But unfortunately, for some of us, the vice presidency was zoned to someone else, based on the decision of the candidate himself. We appreciate the fact that the candidate, whether governor, chairman, or presidential candidate, all of them, it is a prerogative to decide who becomes their own deputy. But when you call us to advise us and we advise you and it's not followed, it becomes a problem. Me, I stood with Wike because I knew the contribution Wike had for the party in Nigeria and what he did for me, for providing a platform for me to come back, convincing me from the APC to come back to PDP. So you can understand my sentiment. Me, I appreciate everything that somebody does for me. And so I stood for him, but unfortunately, he was not nominated. But we can put all those ones behind us. But moving forward, there are steps that we need to take to correct the wrongs, if they matter, to ensure that the party is together and we work towards a common goal and achieve the success.
So what we wonder, I mean, you mentioned one thing earlier, that is the prerogative of the candidate to decide who his running mate will be. So the question will be, was it needed in the first place for the 17 people to come together to help decide for the party, but knowing full well that the candidate has the prerogative, the last say on who becomes his running mate? Now, has there not been any kind of overture since that decision to decide on Governor Akwa to be the vice presidential candidate of the PDP? Are there any overtures to Governor Wike to rally around and beg him, just like some leaders of the party are saying?
Well, that is a problem some of us have, and we're complaining. I think that it was a prerogative of the presidential candidate to decide. If he decided, just like he did in 2019, by choosing former Governor Obi without consultation, well, it was accepted. He could have done the same thing if he had a preferred candidate like Akwa. Akwa is a good man. He's competent. He has been a senator. He has been governor 2 times. And he is my friend. We relate together very well. He has the capacity. He's the chairman of South Governors Forum. So in terms of qualification, Akwa is qualified. So if the candidate have chosen Akwa, that wouldn't have been a problem. It would have been accepted. But bringing all of us together, taking me from my state, taking several other governors from their state, and bringing all of us to a committee very responsible stakeholders, BOT, former Governors Forum, and National Working Committee bringing us together and asking us to recommend someone. But I think that if we are really practicing democracy, 14 people out of 17 is enough to take a decision for anyone, whether you're a candidate or not, or whether it is a party or not. 17 people out of, 14 people out of 17 people is enough to say that overwhelmingly this is what people have decided. Some of us, we are saying this because we are concerned. We want the party to win. We know the pains that Nigerians are going through. And we want the right thing to be done at all times. But I want to say that my concern is that the overtures have not gone out enough to see how we can sort these things out. Like I said earlier, all that was needed, even before the pronouncement, after we did our recommendation, Wike would have been reached up to. He's a human being. This is a man who has built the party. Today in PDP, he has fought all night, all day. He fought to ensure that this party remains together. So he would have been reached out to say that this is the decision we're taking, and this is the reason for taking this decision. And I think he would have understood, and the interest of the party he would have accepted, because the party is supreme. Nobody, all of us, whether we're governors or candidates or whatever we are, the decision of the party must be supreme in all party members must accept the decision, because at the end, it is party that is projecting.
All right. Now, I'd like to also follow up on that. Is it true, Governor Autumn, that 3 names were presented to Mr. Atiku? Is it true?
Oh, well, of course, 3 names. But in the order of preference, it was presented. Wike, Okowa number 2, and Governor Udom. All of them are qualified. But preference was that Wike, 14 members out of 17. This is the point we're making.
But you heard some of the reasons why he may have he dropped Governor Wike. Do you realize some of his sentiments, or do you align with his sentiment, or do you see reason about his sentiment and perhaps the reasons that have been given for picking Governor Okowa ahead of Governor Wike or Governor Udom?
Well, that is in the wisdom of the candidate himself. So I cannot vouch for him, but I'll tell you the truth that 3 of them were qualified. And Governor Wike was eminently qualified. 14 people out of 7. All these things were discussed during our meeting. And we said that for the PDP to win, we needed Governor Wike. Yes, Wike would have had his own weak points, as others may see it. But to some people, those were his strong points in this life. And so, for me, the candidate who won the primaries has the final say. He has decided that is okay. I have no problem with that. But I think that moving forward, Wike would have been reached up to. Even some of us who were supporting Wike would have been told, would have been convinced that, well, for this reason, we are deciding on this. I know that even if Wike was nominated, others will still complain. But in politics, majority will always carry the day. The minority will always have their say. The majority of the people will always have their way. That is what politics is. So for me, post-nomination of vice president or running mate, the activities that followed is what I'm complaining. Wike would have been reached out to. I would have been reached out to, and many other people who felt that it should be Wike.
All right. So
would have been reached out to.
So does that affect your support for Atiku Abubakar in any way?
No, you see, let me say that for now, the party's decision is supreme. Once the party take decision, what else do we have to do? We accept it. But I want to say that really I'm confused about what is happening in Nigeria today, in politics generally. And for me, I'm into hibernation.
What do you mean by hibernation, Governor?
God will help me. Well, I'm waiting now. I say I'm praying, and I want a direction all along. If you ask anybody in Benue State, they will tell you that Samuel Otom became governor in 2015 because of God's divine intervention. In 2019, it was the same thing. And even now, we will pray. Whatever God directs us to do, that is what we will do.
Including your support for Atiku Abubakar? Either for or against?
Atiku is the presidential candidate of the PDP. I'm a member of PDP. What else will I do? But we have not met since the nomination as a team. But I believe that at the appropriate time, we will meet. And if there is anything to do or to say, that will be said. I believe in working together with others as a team. And I think that I have pointed out to the wrongs that were done to the person I was supporting, Governor Wike.
But have you been able to speak with Governor Wike?
The candidate.
Well, do you know, can you tell us what is on his mind when you spoke with him after that incident?
Wike is on holiday. Please allow him to have his holiday. When he comes back, we can discuss that. But the truth is that I have pointed out my pains and what I feel it is wrong and what should be done to correct it. I believe that the presidential candidate will reach out to him, the party leadership will reach out to him, and will reach out to all of us that seems not to be happy about what is going on. And once that is done, I believe that we can have a way forward.
But there are those who will say that maybe Atiku was not properly guided in the recommendations of the three people. Maybe he wasn't properly directed on the position of the 17 people who voted. 14 voted for Wike, and maybe he didn't know that that was the position. Maybe that's the preference. Was there a caveat? Was there any guide as to how he should go by his decision?
I have told you that in our recommendation, we did say that in order of preference, 3 people were recommended as we were directed. If we were to nominate one person, it was Wike. But since they said 3 people, the 3 were recommended to him. And so it is not a matter of the committee did not guide the candidate properly. Preference was done in that order. Wike number 1, Akwa number 2, and Udom number 3. That has been done. I am saying that is not even a problem. But the post-selection activities is what I'm talking about. I feel that Wike would have been reached out to. Yes, 14 people recommended you out of 17. But if he was not to be nominated, he would have been called by the leadership of the party, by the candidate himself, to explain to him that for this reason, this is why I'm not nominating you. Though you were recommended by these people, but for this reason, this is why I am picking somebody else. I think that would have solved the problem. That is what I'm saying.
All right, Governor Tom, look at this.
He's a member of our party.
It does look like whatever the grievance is, Mr. Atiku Abubakar is also listening and is perhaps following what is happening. Take a look at his tweets today. He says in one of the tweets, the official PDP will remain united, focus on our actions. We are taking actions to address the feelings of our party members. The unity in our community is my priority. Our resolve to unify Nigeria starts in our party and moves to the community, then on to society. Then he went further to say, every governor, legislator, and other elected officials produced by our party and party members and loyalists are much loved and respected by me. Does that kind of statement suffice, or you need him to do more?
I need him to do more.
What would you require of him?
I'm making a statement. Reach out to those people who feel they are aggrieved. Reach out to Governor Wike. Reach out to Samuel Otom. Reach out to the other people who are not satisfied with the process.
How many people are not happy?
Reach out to everybody.
Are you the only two that are not happy? Is it only you and Governor Wike that are not happy? Who are the others?
That is left for the candidate to find out.
Would reaching out be to visit you, or is it a phone call will suffice? What kind of reaching out do you suppose? Or there's supposed to be some negotiation?
Whether phone call, whether visits, whether delegation, or anything that can placate someone who is aggrieved, who is not happy with a process, will suffice. That is the point I'm making.
But Governor Otom, in all of this, do you suppose that all of this will affect the chances of your party, whatever is happening now, the show of your grievance and perhaps the manner in which things are going? Things are definitely going south for your party, and the chances of your candidate might be dimming by the day in terms of perception, and the fallout of all of this will be that the structure of your party is fumbling, and there is a lot of trouble at the base of it. I mean, are you thinking about the bigger picture? That this is not about individuals and their feelings and their emotion. This is about Nigeria, and this is about your party as an association.
I want to tell you that the party is still very, very intact, depending on what the leadership does. For now, I can assure you, because we are looking at the bigger picture. The situation in our country today requires that whatever is our personal interest, we must bury it. We must leave it behind and fight to secure the country. From where I come from, in Benue State, our people say that you first of all chase away the fox before you come back to take the remaining chicken. And that is what it is today in our country. We have a bigger problem. This one is an internal problem. And I tell you that PDP internal challenges are a family affair. This will be resolved. I believe that for some of us who are vocal and are speaking our mind, who are speaking the truth, the candidate and the leadership of the party should be able to address these grievances that we're talking about. They are genuine. And if they do that, if they placate, why can't we work together? How can you compare the APC government and have taken us from top to bottom? And we are nowhere. We are not even at the bottom. We are going beneath the bottom. We are going beneath the earth. We are dying. Nothing is functioning in Nigeria today. And all that we need is for a new regime to take over and take us from bottom to top. That is what we are saying. So taking Nigeria from bottom to top is a larger picture. And some of us are prepared to team up with all progressive minds and people who are willing to help rescue and rebuild this country, because we cannot continue in this manner. The way we are going, if we continue and we continue to keep quiet, we are also, all of us are also going to be consumed. one day. So the concern of some of us is to ensure that we get things moving right. You talk about 2023 election. How can we continue in this manner and say that we're going to have a credible election? Look at what is happening. The APC that would have been given us leadership, look at what they did in their primaries. They have not followed due process. They don't believe in the rule of law. They believe in lawlessness. That is why today bandits have taken over everywhere. We are just waiting for the day that we hear that bandits have taken over the presidential villa, just like they did in Afghanistan. We're just waiting for the day that bandits will come and take over government house.
That's extreme. Those thoughts are extreme. Those thoughts are extreme. God forbid that kind of situation happen. But please stay with me, because
well, God forbid. I agree with you, but I should tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree. The truth needs to be spoken. But I'm just saying that the extreme thoughts are not for television like this. You know. But stay with me, Governor Autumn.
Well, that is my problem with Channels Television. You will always don't want somebody to say the truth. And we're going down. What are you doing to get it right?
But
if you don't want me to appear on your program, you tell me. There is no need. I will always tell you the truth. Things are going bad. Nigeria is going down the drain. Nigeria is collapsing under your watch. As a television network that should be telling the truth, you don't want us to say it, then you don't invite me to your programs. That is the truth.
The reason why,
I cannot go to the villa. I cannot go to see the president. They have stopped me. And here, that you should help me communicate with the president. You're stopping me. What do you want me to do?
I'm not stopping you, Governor.
What do you want me to do?
I'm just saying that, you know, there are lines that need to be told. There are rules guiding this profession. There are rules guiding. We have regulators. We have rules guiding this profession. And I'm just making you aware. And nobody is holding you back from saying.
Have I said anything that is lie? Have I said anything against government that is not true? I'm saying the truth. Every day, even today, my people have been killed. You want me to do what? What do you want me to? Everywhere, killings everywhere. And you don't want us to talk.
No, speak.
So if
absolutely,
you don't want us to talk,
you're probably getting it. You're getting it wrong. I'm just getting you aware. When you say that bandits may take over the presidential villa, I'm saying that's an extreme thought, which may not be the right way to.
Has it not happened in Afghanistan?
It's happening in Afghanistan, but God forbid it happens here.
Are you not?
And I'm not stopping you from speaking your mind, Governor.
Are you not aware that bandits have kidnapped people in Abuja? The Federal Capital Territory, bandits have kidnapped people there. Today, as I talk to you, 8 people have been killed by bandits in my own state. The other people, it was 17. The other day, it was 20. The other day, it was 25. How do you want me to feel? And you want me to come here and be praising you and praising the government of the
absolutely. Nobody is saying that. What? Governor Autumn, don't get it wrong, please. Nobody is stopping you.
Just a killer.
Nobody is stopping you from
and
expressing
they want everybody. They have caged Channels Television. I used to respect you, but the way you're behaving, I'm not happy.
No. That's unfair to make that kind of statement. That's unfair. But stay with me. We'll be back and talk more about these issues. We'll take a break, everyone, and when we return, we'll see with Governor Samuel Autumn on some of the internal issues in the PDP, and we'll later be joined by the former spokesperson of the House of Representatives and the chieftain of the APC on the crisis rocking the party after his promise. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back.
From the north to the south, east and west, Network Africa brings you news stories from all around the continent. With wide range in coverage, insights and analysis of special issues, we dissect Africa in its beauty and peculiarities. Network Africa tells the African story from the African perspective. Network Africa, weekdays at 4 p.m. Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser. Or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Channels Television, ubiquitous.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State is still with us. We're discussing the internal issues within the APC. Governor Otom, I know you got a bit emotional there, but I mean, absolutely, you know that I will never stop you. This platform is where we speak the truth. We speak truth to power, and we never gag anybody for saying the truth. But know that as much as we operate here in Nigeria, we're guided by rules and laws of the land. And that's what I'm just reminding you. Apologies if you feel offended, but let's continue with the conversation. I'd like to show you something, Governor Otom, and which was what former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, tweeted earlier today. I mean, it was actually yesterday. But if you look at what he said, and it's about the stand of some of the members of the party. He said the PDP constitution provides for a rotational presidency. Section 3 sub C provides that the party shall pursue its aims and objectives by adhering to the policy of the rotation and zoning of party and public elective offices in pursuance of the principle of equity, justice, and fairness. It went further to say, the current president of Nigeria is a two-term northern presidency, thus implying that it must be a southern presidency in 2023 or nothing. Our south, Lokan, meaning south is next, that I think is a Yoruba language. Nigerians should await details soon. Do you align with the thought of former Governor Ayodele Fayose?
Well, I cannot speak for Governor Fayose. He has his independence to say whatever he wants. But the truth is that he also participated in the process of nominating a candidate. And Nigerians are aware, and you're also aware, that from the beginning, for me, Samuel Otom, as a member of PDP, I declared my support for the South to produce a president. And I stood my ground. And even in the primaries, I supported a Southern president. Unfortunately, we were in the minority. And as I said before, in politics, the minority will always have their say, but the majority will have their way. That was what played out in our convention. And as a loyal party man, I have no choice than to walk in line with what the decision of the party, the majority of the people wanted. And so that is where we are. And so I cannot be speaking for him. I don't want to condemn him. Democracy is all about freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of speech. So I cannot go into that. But for me, everybody knows in Nigeria that Samuel Otom stood for Southern president. I believe that for 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's rule in the north, the next presidency would have gone to the south. Unfortunately, my party did not align with me by ensuring that the majority of the people vote for the candidate of the south that we prepared or we preferred. So that is the point. So Fayose is free to express himself, a former governor, and a stakeholder in politics, not just in PDP, in politics. So he has a right, he has the freedom to say what, but the reality on ground is that today, we in PDP, we have a northern president, a presidential candidate, the person of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar.
So, Governor Tom, let me take. So, I mean, there is a balancing in all of this because politics and the issue of zoning is prevalent. The issue of zoning is prevalent in Nigeria's politics. So, now that this conversation is coming up, the national chairman of the PDP, Senator Yocha Ayu, has been quoted to say, if there is a northern candidate of the party, him also from the north central region of the country, he will resign. Do you think that statement should be followed through? Or how do you think the party can balance things? So you now have a national chairman from the north and a presidential candidate from the north.
Well, I think that is left for the leadership of the party to decide. I want to leave it for the leadership of the party to decide because we want to win the election. And if there is anything that will make us win election, we are going to do it. And so I'll leave that to the party to decide because we have a leadership. And truly, that was what the national chairman said when he was nominated to take over the mantle of leadership in the party. But I think at the appropriate time, these things will be sorted out. There will be no issue whatsoever.
All right. Governor Otom, on a final note, let me put this to you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if it does look like one, you know, you're my very good friend, you will take it the way it is. Now, some of your friends are saying they might be supporting a candidate outside of your party. If they do so, would you join them?
Well, look, don't coerce me to say something that...
But I've given you a signal to expect this.
I have told you that I am into hibernation. So I cannot...
Come out of the hibernation and tell us.
I'm praying.
Because you support some of your friends, and now it does look like what we are hearing, because, you know, I have my ears to the ground. Whatever is happening in the opposition and in the ruling party, I have my ears to it. So there are talks that there might be a support for other persons other than your presidential candidate in the PDP. Would you toe that line?
Let me tell you, okay, let me go spiritual now with you. The Bible says, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. I want to be led by God.
So if, should God be telling you support any other person other than Atiku Abubakar, would you do so? Is that what you're saying? After
my prayers, God will direct me, and that is what I will do. I'm a divine political personality. I came in 2015 by divine means. In 2019, you were all witnesses. It was divine means. So, today, where I say that I'm confused, I don't know what is really happening, I have to go back to the drawing board and ask God, what should I do? And I had this inspiration as a student of the Bible from what David was doing. David asked God at all times, should I go to this war? Will I win? God will tell him. So by the time I come out of hibernation...
when you are out of the hibernation, Samuel in the Bible, not your own Samuel, Samuel in the Bible consistently was hearing from God. I hope this time around you will hear from God and you'll be able to tell us when you do so. Thank you so much, Governor Samuel Tom.
I will hear. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Channels Television.
Thank you.
I know you are sorry for
but you know, we are a front line. We are number one in the nation. We do the right thing. We speak the truth. We allow people to speak their own truth too. As long as it's in line with the rules.
I'm sorry for being emotional, but I was just expressing myself. You have denied me the right to express myself to Nigerians and the entire world for a long time. That is why I was emotional against you.
But thank you so much for coming tonight anyway. It's appreciated. You have
thank you.
Thank you. Let's switch gears now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There is fire on the mountain, not in the PDP, but in the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. They're not all also shielded from the trouble, internal trouble, and the ones that are coming from the outside. And this time around, everyone is on the run. Several states of the Federation in the APC, their primaries conducted, of course, big trouble. In Akwa Ibom tonight, that's what we'll focus on. For example, big trouble have erupted. The headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja, has confirmed that the All Progressives Congress APC primary, which produced Akanim Udofia as a governorship candidate, was not monitored by the commission's officials. The primary, which produced the former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, according to the commission, as the APC Senate candidate in the state, was also not monitored by INEC. Both primaries were held around midnight, according to report, on the 26th of May and June the 9th, respectively. It therefore means the APC may not have a governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State for the 2023 general elections, and that Mr. Akpabio is not recognized by INEC as a candidate, as previously reported by a newspaper. Now, let's get talking. I'm being joined by a chieftain of the APC, a former spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Honorable Eseme Eyibo. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me here. I'm glad to be here.
What is happening with your party in Akwa Ibom State? It does look like some of you in the party don't like what Mr. Mike Igini has said, but the party at the INEC at the national level has backed Mr. Igini for saying that Igini has said the truth. Your party is at the risk of not having a candidate in the governorship election.
I am coming here as a witness to the truth, and I shall say only the truth to enrich our democracy.
I always like people to speak the truth.
Okay?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. At this instance, what you are hearing is rather very spurious. There are two issues here. There is a Mike Igini as an individual and a Mike Igini as a resident electoral commissioner in Akwa Ibom. So what the garment he's wearing in this respect is a partisan garment that cannot represent, Independent National Electoral Commission. And I can tell you that Independent National Electoral Commission is a creation and creature of the law, and to that extent is law abiding. And what constitutes the commission, as a matter of fact, at that level is the chairman, the commissioners, the secretary, and all other persons. And so an individual at the level of the state, you don't expect a reporter of channels to stay in Port Harcourt to now begin to take decisions and go public on an issue bordering on channels without clearing or without such emanating from the management of Channels Television.
Let's speak in straight English,
it's as simple as
quick one. Yeah. Now, so yes. let's deal with the issue and decisively.
Yes.
You have an issue also. Your name is not on the...
Oh, my name is there.
Your name is there.
The name is published in all the INEC local government, the particulars of the details of the primaries.
Did you participate in the primary?
Of course I did. That's the foundation I want to lay for you here.
Did INEC monitor the primary in which you participated?
Now, this is what you need to know. The statutory 21 days notice required of the party, that is the APC now, sent the 21 days statutory notice to INEC. And it is not the responsibility of the political party to compel INEC to do its administrative responsibilities. That's one you must get clear. So the issue now is, was there any time the party issued a statutory notice to INEC?
Did you issue any statutory
notice? Of course. That's what I want to give to you now. This is a notice. This is a submission of the report. This is a notice from the party, to INEC, informing INEC Yes? You have all of that?
I have all.
You have all of that?
I just wanted to identify which document so that
I have it, yes. So, which was written to INEC. And the state chairman of the party, Stephen Dwekbo, wrote again identifying venues, date, and the time for the conduct of various primaries. And of course, I am giving you those documents here in case you want to cross-check. You are free to cross-check. This is the notice of the reconduct
of the exercise.
Of the exercise.
Has it been reconducted?
Has
it been reconducted?
Yeah, reconduct. It was done. This official letter from the national chairman of the party. This is the venue for the reconduct, the notice.
So what's the grievance from your side?
Sorry?
What is the grievance from your side?
Okay. Now, what the resident electoral commissioner is trying to do, he is trying to claim that he went to the venue, Shea Grace Arena. Shea Grace Arena was never mentioned by the political party as the center for the conduct of the primaries. If you go through all these documents, neither the national chairman, Adamu Abdullahi, or Senator Emisire, the documents are here. The state chairman wrote formally to INEC, indicating where the conduct of the exercise shall take place. This is the official letter here, and it was received by INEC.
So what's the problem
now,
at the moment?
He now went to...
so there is a venue where the primary was
supposed to be conducted, and it was indeed conducted. It was indeed conducted.
And so another one was conducted elsewhere.
There couldn't have been a parallel one because there is only one political party.
That you did not recognize, that you did not...
No, the party. We are talking about the party now. The party now constituted a panel to conduct these primaries. And these venues were communicated to the panel by the national of APC. They went there. But Mike Igini now claims that he was at Shea Grace Arena. Who took him to Shea Grace Arena? Who told him that it would be taking place at Shea Grace Arena? He only went there as a chairman of an unregistered political association. He couldn't have been to monitor the election of
the national body of INEC has said,
I want to
whatever. No. I'm telling you, yeah. And I mean, take whatever I heard on that. Whatever is official.
He said there's only one
on the ground. He said there's only one INEC.
There is only one INEC to the extent that, quote me, that whatever is a decision the body takes, INEC takes, you know, that is the position of the Independent National Electoral Commission. And in this case, such positions are usually taken after the meeting of the commission, made up of the chairman, the commissioners, the secretary, and the entire, the gamut of the administrative structure of INEC. And not a resident electoral commissioner in a state now deciding to act as a chairman, acting as a spokesperson, and now beginning to create the hallucinating effect on electoral psychology.
So you're not happy with what INEC in Akwa has done? That's your
what he's doing is unlawful, and that is why this letter was written by the secretary of the INEC.
You are not happy with what I mean. Can only describe it as unlawful because you guys are not happy.
Yes, I am only worried that he has chosen the path of arbitrariness. Because if it was not arbitrary, the one he claimed he monitored, why is INEC publishing in all the local governments the particulars of candidates? What is published is, of course, what was a product of these primaries.
So
not what he did.
What are you looking forward to achieve now?
What I'm looking forward to achieve is that there should be some level of corporate image communication. There must be a communication that reflects an image so that no one person will begin to arbitrarily act as an institution. There should be a difference between politics and governance. He is acting and wearing the garments, you know, of partisanship. Because, and that should not be...
You know, what I feel sometimes is when someone is doing a good job, some people are not happy.
No, it's not a good job.
Maybe Mike Igini is doing the right thing.
If he was doing...
And politicians are not happy.
No, that's not correct.
A lot of the times, politicians don't get upset.
That is not correct.
Because the right things are being done.
I am telling you here, Mike is my personal friend. I can tell you that. Mike Igini is my friend.
But he's doing his job.
No, the job he is doing is what is acting ultra vires. What he's doing is acting ultra vires. If he were not acting ultra vires, the secretary of the commission would not send this letter informing him, in case he wasn't aware, that what he is doing is outside the ambits of the law.
All right.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping, what are you begging or pleading for tonight? Because
I'm not.
If you come
I am
before
not
the court,
begging.
you
I
need
am
to have
not.
a
It's a
prayer.
public opinion court
Yes.
because one, by his action, he has not succeeded, but he has been able to put INEC in a light where an average reasonable person will believe that.
This conversation is not about Mike Igini, it's about the process.
Yes.
But we hope to hear from Mr. Mike Igini tomorrow.
Very well.
Thank you so much,
very well.
Honorable
very well.
SMN,
Kindly,
for coming.
very kindly. Thank you very well.
I
can also oblige you some documents so that when he comes, you know, you should be able to ask him.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. By all means.
Yes, very well.
Thank you so much. And it's good to see you.
Kindly. It's
the
nice
gray
to see you too.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.